me, with those being taken off, yeah, that kind of hurt because that was what made Saturday morning cartoons and even weekday afternoon cartoons back when I was growing up, and even in the '90s, something special because you never knew. True, the some of the 1-800 numbers were kind of iffy and controversial because you never knew what they were really about. I mean, heck, sometimes you would have. I mean, Nostalgia Critic put it in his rise of some of his commercial episodes. You would have, these little 1-800 number things with little sock puppets going like, "Oh, I'm gonna hear a story. They're gonna read you a story." It's like, seriously, what's any truth in that? Anyway, but the point they're trying to make here is with the decline of those being taken away, that revenue to where that advertising of a toy or whatever or something on a cereal would be gone. They wouldn't be there anymore. So that didn't help. And then in 1996, 95, 96, the EEI really started to get more mandated by the FCC, as we all know, and things like Sonic Sat AM, which I'm a fan of, other shows like I'd say I don't know if Reboot got it. I think Reboot lasted another year or two afterwards, but then they went to Cartoon Network and got more freedom. So things like Reboot were gone, Wildcats, and there goes Tiger Claw. Wildcats got the boot after one season on Saturday mornings, even though some people say it just didn't do so well. Tiger Claw got, I mean, not Tiger Claw, Wildcats got the boot. Wildcats got the boot, things like that. They all started to slowly decline and only be reduced to like one season. For example, Mighty Ducks the Animated Series, which is a Disney show, and even threw in some educational messages, and they even joked upon that by breaking the fourth wall with Nosedive saying, "I'm sorry," apologizing to the audience and saying, "I'm sorry." They wanted us to make the show more educational. So things like that, these things started to decline because they didn't have that educational factor. And again, even back at that time, and hell, I was a teenager. I was like in my middle years of high school and all that. Even at that time, even as a high school teenager, playing sports, doing, trying to hang out with friends as best I could. Even I thought to myself, why in the world would they do this? Why would they want us to have more education on a day that's supposed to be like the theme song said for Disney's One Saturday Morning, our 5 hours of summer? Why were they doing this? Because of the fact that there were still groups out there that believed kids and teenagers needed as much education as they can get because they wanted them to have the opportunities that eventually they ended up getting anyway. I mean, come on, you can't tell me that a kid that grew up in the 80s and 90s like I did, didn't get a good education, didn't go to college, get a good education there, get the diploma, the degree, the bachelor's, whatever, and get a great job with the government or with some communications program or NASA or whatever. You can't tell me they didn't get that because they did. And there's evidence. But apparently there are still groups out there that believe that. Now, overall, we all know that as time went on, Saturday mornings would start to fade away from the major networks. Like NBC was the first to do it, and then slowly CBS followed suit. Like, I would say, almost 5 years later, they followed suit. 5, 6 years later. And then ABC finally followed suit about the early to mid 2000s, and then now eventually, of course Kids WB started, Fox Kids then followed suit, and then Kids WB reverted and became what they did, CW Kids, and then 4Kids and Vortex, and then the rest was history. So, and again, like you said, you can put the blame on a lot of things. Some of these things that I talked about here are major factors. Yeah, you had things like the adult animation that was coming in on, Fox and all that. That was, I guess sort of becoming an influence even on children's animation, and that kind of hurt. But you know, I think in a sense it was more along the lines that there's just a lot of factors that came into play overall, and the factoring, and when you factor in that this started as far back as the late '60s and throughout the '70s, like I said, which kind of slowly dissipated and was slowly blocked off for a while, and sort of borderlined, if you will, kind of have a wall put up between it before it started to be slowly climbed upon by all these other factors and caused it to crumble. Uh, you know, and then of course you do have the advert or the invent of things like streaming media like Netflix and Hulu, and the fact that you can stream and watch anything from anywhere with devices like this. It really hurt. It did kind of hurt and was one of those major factors, especially later on. And it's just, like I said, just one thing led to another. And looking back on it now, it just was, again, it's just sad to know that Saturday mornings are not going to be the same. You can have kids say, oh, you can have today's generation say, oh, well, Saturday mornings are still around. Just tune into Nicktoons, turn into Cartoon Network, to Disney XD. And again, you can do all that. But the fact of the matter is, it's not the same. Sure, you can go on Stream Picks and Kabillion on demand, and you can, you know, you can kind of record the programs with your DVD recorder or Blu-ray recorder or whatever, or DVR them in order and say, okay, I'm going to watch this on Saturday mornings for the next few hours to make it feel like it's Saturday mornings. You could do that. You could do the same with Netflix and Hulu. You can program list of shows you want to kind of put in a Saturday morning like category or folder and go with that. But the point is, it's not the same. It's not the same. And of course, and of course, you do have networks out there, syndicated networks or whatever, over-the-air networks or cable networks. You have these networks out there. Let me see if I can find some here. Let me see if I can find them here. I know they're here. I know they're here somewhere. Hold on. But there are some networks out there. I don't know if the national, local, semi-national, whatever they are. But they are out there. And you still kind of get that retro feel because of them. You still get that retro feel and everything of Saturday morning nostalgia, even though it's not the same as it used to be. Like you got retro TV, retro television network. Which is, let's see, nationwide via OTA digital television, covering 54% of the U.S. In other words, right now it's at 54%. It's on-air branding, RTN and RTV. They still do it. They still do it. So it's out there. And then you have other ones as well. So like with me, the closest I get is KAXT-CD, or whatever they are. Out of the Bay Area. And eventually they're going to try to come down, and eventually, hopefully, we'll get something here. But and again, like I said, eventually we'll get something here. I don't know when. I don't know when we're going to get that. But you have things like like this retro TV, and then what else do you have here? Um, Excuse me. Again, that's my stomach. You said you have retro TV. You have bounce TV. And they said that according to Bounce TV, only one cartoon series that aired on Saturday was Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids. You know. And for us, it's Univision that has it. So, yeah. Univision, which is, I guess, Channel 18 out here, we get it, but through the Spanish network. Go figure. No offense. No offense. Um, but again, these are examples, like I said, of there's still being that Saturday morning like environment there, but it's not what it used to be. And then you got Telextos TV, which airs both cartoons and 3-hour children's programming. However, only two non-EA programming airs in the early morning and afternoon, such as He-Man and She-Ra. Like the two sub-digital channels that don't air products which aims to children, it is it is it is the only Spanish sub-channel to air cartoons on Saturday. So yeah, with the fact that again, RTV, is in some areas, just not everywhere yet, and the fact that what we could get is mostly shown on the Spanish networks, it's still there. And like I said in one video, I basically feel that we're in an age where things can happen, where Saturday mornings can come back and be like they used to be. Because to think that for over a year now, for almost a year now, Saturday morning cartoons traditionally have been gone, it's hard to believe. It really is. I mean, to be honest with you, I have some DVD plus RWs of Looney Tunes, not Looney Tunes, but Lunatics Unleashed from Kids WB on there. So I know what it's like. And that was still part of the traditional Saturday mornings. So again, to know that it's no longer around, and some people will say, oh well, you got the Saturday, and again, you'll have this generation of kids saying that's not true. Have them look back. Have them go to YouTube, because there are people that are doing it. Have them go to YouTube. Have them go to a torrent. See exactly what I'm talking about. See exactly what I'm talking about. Because let's be honest, folks. Let's be totally honest. with ourselves that have grown up in that age, in that generation. Our kids today can say Saturday mornings are not dead, and that's fine. But traditionally, they have to realize for us that they are. But you know what? I believe we're in an age right now, as many people pointed out, Saturday morning cartoons might be dead, but very soon they're going to be resurrected. And they're going to be back to the way they were, and things are going to change for the better. I feel it. I feel it's coming, but again, until that time, it's just hard to believe that it's been over a year now. It's been 1 year since Saturday morning cartoons officially, traditionally, came to an end. Let me know what you guys think down below. Talk to y'all later.